All right. Let's face it, right? No matter how nicely your kids are playing 1 minute, the next minute might bring tears, name calling, even fights. So if you have more than one child, it's a guarantee that sibling rivalry will happen. This is not an exception for adult relationships, right? But even though sibling fighting is a common occurrence in family, it can be different to manage and might have long-lasting effects if parents don't have the right tools or manage effectively. Now, I'm bringing this back to one of the most popular sibling rivalry that broke the hearts of many Nigerians, in fact, many people globally, actually. According to Premium Times, the music duo P-Square and Paul Okoye, they split in September 2017 after years of dominating the Nigerian music scene. In the letter obtained by Linda Ekeji blog, Peter made some allegations against his twin brother Paul and the older brother, the group manager, that was Jude Okoye. Now, Peter confirmed the sad development, saying P-Square is no more. I have nothing against my brother. I saw Paul's post on Instagram about blood being thicker than water. Who is water? Who is blood? That was what he had asked, and adding that his nuclear family and wife, they were very important to him, and he had decided to move on with his personal brand. We can all agree that the separation, which had a negative effect on their brand and led to the downturn spiral of their career before their recent reconciliation, may have been avoided without sibling rivalry. Now, so today we're asking, how can we even avoid this sibling rivalry, right? That's the conversation. Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So this conversation is actually very interesting because, you see, there are some things I believe strongly that are strongly avoidable. I've had, so in my family, we are, total number of children are 9. But from my mom, we're just 3 of us. There's my older sister, I'm in the middle, and my younger sister. I know several times. So I remember clearly, my older sister and I used to fight. Like, I don't fight. I've never fought outside in my life. I've never. But I remember that my older sister used to hit me, and she hits me, I hit her back. I think I now gave my life to Christ. I'm serious. I got born again.
I use your church mind.
I think my jest is 1 or 2. So one day like that, she just gave me what? She slapped me, and she was, you are waiting. She was preparing for a counter attack. I just looked at her and I walked away, and that was the end of the fight. Since then, we never fought. So even recently, Jesus got me. He arrested my soul, because even I was shocked at myself that I didn't hit her back. But that was the end of anything physical. And I was like in JS 1 or 2, I can't remember. I know I just gave my life to God recently. But I've given my life severally to God. I collect it back and I give it back to God. But the point I'm trying to make is, have we had fights in terms of like arguments and all of that? We've had it. But what I've done with my life and my sisters is that at the point where we're getting to that, because I don't like to say things that I cannot take back. And words are like eggs. Once you say it is broken, you can't piece it together. So when I get to that level of anger, in fact, she did one recently, I think last week, immediately she was just talking, I just ended the call. Because if
network failure.
Network failure. So by 2 days later, she was now using style. You will know that somebody is
using style. MTN was working.
But I'm just saying that. So for some reason, I've tried to work on myself, because I do not expect anything from other people. And I believe that if you truly would avoid anything sibling rivalry, it's not really about the other person, but you. So let me hear your thoughts.
Me, teacher, pick me. First of all, someone told me, because I had an IG Live series with some people when we were all in COVID, and we treated the same topic. And that saying, blood is thicker than water, apparently it's not complete. Somebody sent me a message and said the real saying is the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, is thicker than the water of the womb. Meaning, the people that act Christ-like would matter more to you than the people that were born through the same womb. That's what the total quote is. The blood of the Lamb is thicker than the water of the womb. Which gives me leeway to tell people that blood is not always, your family is not always blood. We say that a lot based on experiences. And for me in particular, I think I would say that I have sort of like a Josephine experience in my family. I'm being honest with everybody. At the moment, I told my siblings this year, I'm going to take a break from our drama. Don't call me, I'm not calling you. I need peace, and you guys are breaking my heart, myself included. Because I have one particular sibling that if they want to, I'm going to write a book about sibling rivalry. She was a classic Harvard school case of shook me for her neck, don't let me breathe. Ichoko. And what I realize about me and her is that she doesn't know how to respect boundaries, and she's condescending. And I can't take condescension. Then I feel she doesn't fly straight. And if I was choosing friends, I wouldn't choose her. And I've tried to, work with the relationship. She probably would say the same thing, but for some reason, I just can't do it anymore. But by the same token, I'm one of the people that is what causes my depression. Because when my father was alive and that my sister that is now late, we were such a unified family that they used to refer to us Alabi family singers, just like Sound of Music group of people. As much as there was like 18 years between the first and the last born, you couldn't come to our house and tell the difference in ages. All Peace's friends and my elder brother's friends and vice versa. We were also unified. You had to play with everybody. The same way you said when you guys go out to a party as a family, that the celebrants are like, these people have come to oppress us again, because people will be looking at their table and think, so much synergy. We lost our synergy. We lost our genuine love.
Your unifier.
We lost our melting pots. We lost the people that cared enough to let it work. And we now started doing this thing of, I don't need you, you don't feed me, blah, 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 blah. I may not see you. But they started an act. I don't even think they had a meeting, but that's their way. When there's an occasion that brings everybody together, maybe a cousin's thing or whatever, you would think we're all cool. We will see each other, we will laugh and everything. Meanwhile, we're keeping malice. I can't do that.
That's pretense.
So I stopped attending things that I knew. Even the church where I decided I want to go for Lagos. The day where I see WhatsApp where someone sent me picture, say, my mama and one of my sisters, they there. I tell pastor, say, that won't be my worship center anymore, because I just want to avoid any fake smells when we don't heal. And by healing, I tell people that love is a verb. It's not a word. It's a doing act. And you don't need to tell me you love me. I should be able to feel it.
Absolutely.
And when you tell me, when I tell you that you've upset me or you've done something, and to anybody, even myself included, care enough to see how it affects me, whether or not you agree. And then, if you care enough about me, you let me know that your intentions were not to hurt, and you make adjustments.
Absolutely.
But when you try to push my feelings away, invalidate my feelings, it causes sibling rivalry. Absolutely. Let me give Elsie time to talk, because I told you it's going to be a series show. We're going to be dealing with it, because we can't sort it out in an hour. Yeah. Over to you, my love.
let me take it from there. I think sibling rivalry stems from a lot of things. Sometimes it's, especially in big families, where you have
you can take each other for granted.
Right? Say WhatsApp group. you
That's
have,
why I know more than two.
Well, some of us had that intention, and we ended up with 4. You can imagine.
Because of Dubai.
But no comment, please. So it comes from different things. It can come from large families where children are trying to compete for their parents' love and all that. When we were growing up, we knew who our dad's favorite was. We knew who our mom's favorite was. Sometimes they're not even conscious of it, right? But the children, you already know. And then sometimes it can come from even small units of family. Maybe they're
wanting to be in the cool
just
group.
one child, and then the second one is on the way. And then problem already starts, because maybe this one has gotten used to being the only child, and then suddenly there's this thing that they call a human being about to come and take their place. So it can be a problem. And sibling rivalry is inevitable. That's the truth. Because as long as human beings are, you will always have to adjust. Each person, I'm a twin, but in our similarity, the first time I had the opportunity to travel to see her in the US, I saw how similar we are And I saw how different we were. Our values, there were so many things. I mean, I think of her now, she's thinking of me like she's watching me now, and all of that. But I could also see our differences.
Yeah.
When people say, oh, Norma, oh, you're this or that, I said, wait till you meet my twin. My twin is magnified by 100.
2.0.
Anything you think about me is like 100. But that's the thing. Sibling rivalry can come from different things, but it can also be managed. I know we'll get there. Some of the situations that we find that create these things make it impossible for you to see the beautiful side of your siblings. It was until we grew up, there was a certain level of maturity that came with doing away with sibling rivalry. When we started having conversations with one another, for a long time, we grew up in an independent home. So everybody was just doing their thing and just growing. But at some point, we started having conversations. And then when we started having conversations, I now realized that, oh, this was how you dealt with the same situation, and then I'm sharing mine, and then, oh, this was how I thought you were the one having it all. Like what the day I had a conversation with my elder sister, I realized my first sister. I realized how heavy it was to be the first child.
Have that responsibility.
I never knew because I was seeing it from my own perspective of I'm the Malcolm in the middle twin. By the time 3 in front, 3 behind, who is going to be asking you? What do you need, this and that? So you became invisible. Some others decided to rebel. Some others had
the popular children.
So much responsibility on them, they didn't even have time to live. So when we started having those conversations, we now understood that everybody dealt with situations at different points in their life because of where they were. And until you see from the perspective of the other person, that's when you now begin to understand that like we say, the grass is always green on the other side. When you cross to the other side, you realize that this person that you think has it all, this person that you thought was well put together, is the one that was the shining star in the house. That person had so much to deal with. There was so much pressure. They were even dealing with depression you didn't know.
Absolutely. I like where we're going with the conversation, because for me, I feel like, sometimes because you magnify what it is that you do not have, you project it, without even unconsciously, without even knowing. Because you see, if you take out time to understand that God was not making a mistake when He created everybody unique. In my home, everybody is different. If you understood the power of diversity and the power of the unique character that each person possesses,
brings to the table,
you understand, you won't have a landing ground for anything called rivalry. Even amongst friends, it happens. On ways we can decide to either celebrate each other or envy each other or compete with one another.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It depends on how you want to look at it as a lens. If somebody is actively doing something, you should look at it that I like this character about this person. That means it's possible. But you can also choose to look at it that
why does she think she's the one that is always getting it done?
For me, I feel like a lot of times, because we want to go back to the quotes that we have today, the parents that we had in those days could not understand how to manage the unique personality of each of their children. So unconsciously, you pushed it on the child. I remember when my child was growing up, they are still growing up, and when he was still a baby, the one that was younger, the oldest child, and I am so conscious of that because of how I was raised. I was so conscious not to ever mention it. My older son is like that one. You can really go to sleep, So straight A's. If there's something higher than A's, that's what he will bring back home and all of that. So I remember one day, I was going to school to pick him up with my older sister. And I had gone into the class. I think he came out, I wasn't there. So my older sister was with him. So he got a badge. Usually in their school, they give them that badge for academic effort. So he got a badge for academic effort. So when my sister came back, my sister told him to repeat what she said. Thank God, finally.
This is the second born talking.
This is the second child.
Oh, wow.
Talking, because his brother is week in, week out. You can't say
this is Michael Jackson that won't let me shine.
And again, it's almost like silently the teachers in the school had positioned him in a way that he wasn't even
Why
good
can't
enough.
you be
Why
like?
can't you be like your thank you? They kept on telling him that. Why can't you be like your brother and all of that? And this boy that I'm talking about, he's super intelligent. I know. he's super intelligent.
But
and
in
I always
comparison.
but they always compare. And I was so careful not to do that. So I was not wondering, where did this come from? David, who is putting you under pressure? So I told him, never. You know, you are
You're cool,
great
though.
the way you are. Just keep on putting as long. I always tell them, as long as you put in
You're doing your
100%
best.
effort. If your result comes out and you got an 80% for your 100% effort, bravo to you. You did your best. But you, in the heart of your heart, you know you didn't put an effort. So after that day, I became extra conscious. So when he was now going to the secondary school and he wrote the scholarship exam, he came
he
first.
passed.
Oh my God! It was a whole new level.
Levels don't
So now
change.
him coming from a school that didn't even believe that he was brilliant or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's going into a school with a full scholarship. He's like, that means
They will know me.
I have something.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying to you that even sometimes, even if it's not coming from the home, there's a pressure that the fact that you are just excelling, things come to you effortlessly. It will put a lot of strain, you know, on the other person. But before I let Elsie talk, we need to open our phones.
Please open up. There's not anything to say.
Okay, let me take the ball from you.
Let's go on a break. All right, so if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are discussing how we can avoid sibling rivalry. That's the conversation. You know, how can we avoid sibling rivalry? Now, remember, join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with that hashtag WayShow. Our phone line is now open. The number to call is 07025007749. That's the number to call. Ladies.
You won't talk or you won't give me chance.
Okay, so it will look like I just came to
With this fine hair that you did, I think say
You
something.
asked me that I talk.
Say
right?
something.
I want to talk. But I think you all you've really taken it from a very healthy angle, and anyone watching would definitely pick out something, especially with how we raise people. I like how you talked about what even happens when there is already a first child and then the second child is coming and you just begin to see that rivalry already. If that is also not handled well from that stage, then it begins to grow into something else.
The envy.
I'm not. I've never agreed with the school of thought that the parents are really to blame. Although, yes, like she has said, you can put in a lot more efforts to ensure that that comparison is not there and everyone feels like they are part of the success of the family. We are all unique, really. But again, I know that human beings are complicated.
Yes.
Some of us are, or most of us are very entitled. Especially when you now, I like that you went as far as breaking down that quote because you've used it a lot of time, and you now see people even believing that
using
you
it to justify.
You will go and work, do all the whole work, and because I am just your sister, and your brother, you have to pack all the money and give me because nothing, right?
Yeah, family.
It's a situation whereby a family member is telling someone, oh, because you're working, you probably don't have children yet. You should now be your responsibility to pick up the other person's children and take care. And I feel like we also need to look at things from the lens of how entitled we become as a people to other people's work. I'm not saying don't be nice. I'm not saying don't have a certain budget with regards to how you help people and family, and even people that are not your family. I mean, if you can help, really, just help, right? But that entitlement as well is one part of it that really fuels that rivalry.
Yes.
So when they see it happening, competition is healthy, like you have said, like a bit of competition. I mean, I like how your son handled it, right?
Yeah.
I think we've had a couple of conversations that involved your children, and I make an effort to always say, I like how this thing ends in terms of how it's handled. And it just shows that they are in that environment where they can learn character as well, values, and how to just come back even when there's a mistake made and said, oh, mommy, I thought this was right when I was arguing it, but now
I see differently.
I know better.
Yeah.
A lot of us that are even older people, we rather hang ourselves than to come back to say, I'm
I'm
you
sorry.
were right. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't mean it
Right?
like
So
that,
when
yes.
she told me that story as well, I was excited, and I
Yeah.
told them, like, it means that something good is
It's
happening
coming
in this
out of it.
environment. So I think we need to just be conscious. And our utterances as well. I shared one that happened to me just this evening with you. And it also comes from how we relate with people.
Yeah.
Before you open your mouth to say something, try to
think about it
process,
well.
process it and see if this
If
is
it
right.
needs to be said.
I
The
know
best
that
response possible. Yeah.
this generation now, or the generation of conversation
And
we are
speaking my
having,
truth.
you hear them not even speaking truth now. They say they are sensitive, right? But I like the sensitivity to a certain degree, because that also helped us watch what we say
Yes.
and how we say them, that we didn't even know the repercussion. Those repercussions have been there. We've said things to people that they go back to their homes and cry.
Or commit suicide.
And nobody will ever address it, because the person will not have the courage to come to you to say, that thing you said to me, you made me cry, I did all this, all that. But now we have an environment whereby when you say something very insensitive to somebody else will actually
watch your
come in to
speech.
say, no, you don't say things like this, because this is how it makes people feel. So I feel like as a people, as much as we are also being very interesting people and going some direction that I don't understand, we're also evolving and getting better and having open conversations and being able to just know that our words are powerful, and how we just react around people would also help
sensitive.
them, just be sensitive.
Sorry, I don't know if I opened the phone line.
You did. Okay.
So
So
we're having
another
challenges
joke.
with the lower third, so I just want to be sure.
When she said, we had said it last week when we were talking about genders being chosen at little ages, and she said these people are getting too sensitive. The way you said now that, even though you don't know where we're going, but at least now we're becoming more sensitive and having more empathy, we did not know where they carry us go. That's another joke for the day.
Okay.
I wanted to say also,
in tune with our National Day.
yes. I wanted to say also, it's never always about the parents or the way they acted that brings about rivalry. There are anointed children that God chose and shone a certain light on. Imagine the way the siblings of a Michael Jackson felt when he went solo and became this force globally. Imagine the way Solange feels about Beyonce, that her mother at times has to say, now 2 children I born, please let us shine some light to. You see Miss Tina do that a lot. Kim Kardashian and all that. I want people to understand, like Cain and Abel, just from the get-go, like Joseph, just from the get-go, like Jesus and James. There are times that God himself is the one that is playing favorites. And you have to be sensitive enough in the spirit to understand that this one is just chosen for purpose, and that you cannot beef them. Because you beef their glory, you end like story. This is God himself that is He has favorites. So we can't always say, we have to build one another up and build our children up to find your star. The same way we all have unique fingerprints, God chose you for something. When there's a Rocky fighting boxing, there's a brother-in-law of his whose mental motivation is what gives Rocky strength. We all have a role to play. We're all parts of the body of Christ, as they describe. We're all parts of the body. If me, as the head, firstborn, get sick, the neck, secondborn, feet no fit move. If thirdborn arm break, it still hurts the whole body. Carry each other's burdens as a body. And then it's a case of one for all and all for one. And nobody gets left behind.
Understand that uniqueness and contentment.
I was going to just add a little bit on that about individuality. And she had already, Ua had already touched
a bit on it
when she said that you have to learn to celebrate them individually. The truth of it is that every child is special. And I would take this part of what I want to say is from the point of view of the parents. Now, as much as we don't want to blame parents, I want to say that a lot of parents are not conscious of what their actions are doing in the lives of children. So as a parent now, I'm being more conscious. I remember a day where my little daughter, my daughter who is a third, came to me suddenly out of the blues. I said, "Mom, you don't love me." And I'm like, where is this coming from? And I said, "Oh, what? Okay, what exactly?" She said, "Oh, that she can see that the way I was doting on her younger brother, and he has his things. She's very particular about her things, so that he has his cot, his chair, and this and that. That she didn't get any of these things. That does not mean I don't love her." I quickly thank God for today's world that you can take as many pictures and keep in the archives. I went straight to the archives. I rolled it back to 2020
to show her how special she was.
And then I took the picture. I said, who is this? Your seats, your pram, and all of those things. And then she started smiling. She said,
oh, this was your season.
But if I wasn't quick to pick it at that point, I probably would not understand.
Or just
she'll start beefing her younger brother.
Dismiss it as and say, oh, you're too children. What I label it? Oh, you're too sensitive. You're too this and that. But you need to pay attention to children. You need to know what makes them different. And unfortunately, our parents had so much. It was difficult.
Okay, so thank you for taking
handle that. So, as a more matured person, as an older person, I understand where they're coming from.
Yes.
I can imagine. So
you can't understand. You don't have 10 children.
No, I don't have 10 children, but I have 4, and I know what the challenge is attending to each and every one of them.
I have to.
Because you know born plenty.
In today's world,
please wait now.
In today's world,
4 is plenty for our age.
And if I say so myself,
I say so for you.
So having that attention, a lot of people. There was a day I was talking with my child, and he said, "Why about this?" That's the one that asked why about everything, and I kept having an answer. A lady, I didn't know someone was paying attention, and she said, "That you have time, oh." I said, "No. Point of correction. I have created time. You have to learn to create time for the things that are
in
important
the moment
to you.
when it
and
needs.
the children are important.
That time she's talking about, they rather gossip with their friends than having that conversation.
It's
with
not
that
available
child.
because you have so much that you're doing, but you need to find time because it is important to you how these children turn out. So having time to explain things, having conversations with them, having that time to celebrate their individual uniqueness is very important. My first son is very similar to Uwa's first son. Straight A, they like things being right. They don't want to attempt failing or doing anything. They don't have stress.
They don't want attention.
The other
for
ones
the
are
wrong things.
explorers. The last one is a combination of everything.
My guy.
So
that's our half-caste baby.
now you have to understand each of them for who they are. So when this one is high flying and getting all the medals and this other, these ones have where their talent and their strength is. It may not be in the theory.
They be the joy giver of the family.
But in the practical aspect of things, they have those things that
they're all
are
special
very
for.
good at. And you must find time to celebrate them. I remember when going to the school for their day of arts. I didn't know my son was singing that day until he stood on the stage and saying, I know, we were cheering
like
from the crowds.
singer.
It was like, wow. And they were like, when parents came to me,
I don't want the video.
Singer, I said I didn't even know that he was that good in singing, but it was something to celebrate, and he was so happy that just being in the
limelight,
crowd and just cheering was all that he needed. He didn't need you to say, but you can get straight A, like your senior brother. But they don't compare.
Those were careless statements.
Those are things that they were not paying attention to.
When
we were growing up,
thinking it would help us get better.
They did the best they
could
knew
with
what they knew because they also thought that was a way to not just push us to want to do better. But, instead it had a ripple effect.
Okay, so I have two. Sorry, I have booked my space. So I have 2 children. I have male and I have female, 4 years apart, and I spaced them on purpose. And you would think that they're so different, or should be so different. The aspirations and the way you raise each one should be different. But my daughter is so naughty. She'll be telling her brother, "You're adopted, well, I'm the one that was really born here." Or tell mommy in group chat, tell Kiton that I'm your favorite child. I had to call her one day. These things that you think are jokes, if you're not careful, you're going to plant a seed in your brother's heart that makes him think you really don't like him. And the day it starts manifesting, you won't even realize that he took it to heart. Be careful. Over to you again.
Okay, so I want to talk about the shift that happened in the educational sector as well over the years. I mean, I'm not in that sector as much as I used to be, but I know that there was a shift in the way the schools were grading the children as well. So you see that schools that were also particularly about solving this sort of issue removed the whole first and second position, and it was almost like just letting
Grades.
you know how
Accreditation for
child,
your-
you know. And I think that at the beginning I didn't understand why that was happening, but now that we're having this conversation and over the years, it made more sense that having to now sit a child and ask, oh, what's your position out of how many?
Yeah, 50
And
out
then
of
that's
100.
how you
Forget how it affects people.
does the person have a 1 million head?
Yeah.
I mean, when that progression was happening, they didn't get it right at first, because what you now realize is that you can have 20 firsts in one class, because
You know how
everybody
to-
needs to feel good, right?
Yes.
But now I think it has gotten better and the grading is better. So kudos in that regard.
We also need to speak about the roles of, or how having a special needs child affects the other
The
siblings.
children, yes. Very
Because when you have, like I said, in this show, this topic is going to have be serious because there's different things to deal about when it talks about it. When you have a child that is a special needs child,
You tend to
you may
pay
think that your parents pay more attention to the child, not realizing that they don't have a choice but to pay attention to that child. So I just wanted to say that briefly as a contribution to another aspect of
let
it
me
that we need to
explain that part,
analyze.
because I have a younger sister that had a medical condition that we didn't know about. In fact, it was when I was getting married that I found out, because she was supposed to be my chief bridesmaid, but she fell ill and she was in the hospital during the wedding. That was when in fact, I didn't even find out then. It was after. So this is years after she's now an adult. I just knew that my mom was always taking good care of her. My mom was always treating her like, I said, which kind? So one day like this. And my mama papa can't go out. She na you that they protect.
You can't win sharp.
Oh my God. My sister, my older sister and I, that one carry, you know that hose where they take the wash car, they take the spray.
And press it for pressure.
We tie, which kind press it? We tie leg, tie, and we beat Shege come up her body. Because at some point she became so naughty. Hold on.
She has received
I was like,
Christ.
what is it? So we tied her hand, we beat nonsense.
You beat Sonama.
So that day, in fact, that was also a turning point for her life, because her brain resets after that day. Because she was always just being naughty. Then when I want to scold her, she would go and run behind my mom's back and all of that. So, when I now found out, I said, Mommy, so what if this girl died for her hand?
And we didn't understand.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
So why I'm sharing this story, if you have a child that has special needs and a medical condition, educate the siblings.
Some are visible and some are not.
You won't even see. If I don't tell you, you won't even know that she had that medical condition. So we were just thinking that she was just overly being pampered. She was just being this, she was just being that. But my mom knew what she was
trying to protect.
She was just, because my mom is someone that speaks in faith. She doesn't want to tell you that this is
there's okay.
She doesn't want you to
affirmations.
Yes, she also doesn't want you
says
to absorb that weakness.
God will change it.
So, and that really helped my sister, because all the things she's achieved in her life today is because of that strength that my mother built in her. But a little carrying every other person along would have helped, because we misinterpreted all of those attention, because she was always giving her drugs, we misinterpreted all of those things for like, why is she special? If she asks for food like this, her own is the biggest.
You go to watch and see how many they won't give up.
We're just wondering, why were you like this? So please, for parents that are raising children, and if you have a child that has a special need, it's always important that you don't
carry
assume,
them along.
Tell the siblings that these and these and these are the reasons. So it will even bring empathy. They would even learn,
and they will even learn how to be caregivers as well.
Caregivers.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick comment. Go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly add that it's not just special needs. There's some situations that there's no tag or label to it, but you just know that there's something just different about a particular child.
Yes.
And that's why I said earlier that it's important to continue to have conversations, because even as young people, they may not even understand. What if it's a
dyslexic child,
a brother or sister that is just overly active? Not that anything is wrong with them, and then that
you find him for
constantly pick up after them. So having those conversations, I mean, for my children, for example, I tell them it's turn by turn. You're complaining now, but your elder brother did it for you. Your other older brother did it next, and now it's your turn
and your role.
So you need to play that role. And then she says, what about him. He's the last one. Who is he going to play a role for?
He will play for your child.
He has cousins that are coming. True. He's going to play that role one way or the other. He's always turn by turn. Somebody you will always meet up. So when they see it as responsibility, and then you are even
being your brother's keeper,
responsibilities to them, it will give them a sense of ownership.
Yes.
And then, like a child who is expecting another child, you are going to take care of this child with mommy.
You're going to feed the child from the womb.
Yes.
The child will now take ownership. Is the child that come and say, oh, mommy, have you eaten? Oh, mommy, have you taken food for the baby?
Let the baby move. Let me touch the baby. Yeah.
Stop protecting children because you assume that they will not understand.
True.
All right, let's
very
take
quickly, I think also parenting is an intentional move. So you have to be very intentional, because I remember a friend as well who actually realized that, like you said, one of her child is hyper because there is actually a particular soda that once that child
drinks it,
you know, every other person will take it too. But once he takes it,
and that's intention,
he can be awake forever.
It might not even
they don't pay attention.
Yes, they wouldn't have noticed. Yes.
All right, so good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying Ways. How can we avoid sibling rivalry? In a nutshell, to go straight to the point, there can never be sibling rivalry in a family if there's a total and genuine understanding amongst each other. If a particular sibling is doing well and others are not, it is general blessing for other siblings and a challenge to perform better. So understanding is very key and vital. I forgive you ladies for not reading my comment yesterday. Daniel came at the 99th hour.
Daniel will have to join the show and sit there, because those comments, he takes them personal. I have mixed feelings about the grade thing. I think it's addressing the Chinese, for instance, continue with that method where they give kids a lot while young. Then they relax at, I hate it when people don't use punctuation marks. It makes it hard to read your comments. Anyway, the opposite is what the Americans do, and when they get to college age, they are stunned about the realities of life being a competition and everything can be candy and lollipop. When we know better, we do better. There's evolution.
Okay.
Quickly. Run out of time.
Oh, me do? I know I don't.
Really?
Correct that.
I thought you had though, Elsie.
I don't have any myself.
Okay, so let me quickly take the final comment. Sorry, Wayamdi. No, let Elsie take it.
All right. Say hi, ladies. It is in the nature of human socialization that sibling rival is a common feature of the family institution. Issues will always arise when humans cohabit. But how it's handled is what makes the difference.
Yeah.
However, parents must be watchful in demonstrating preferential amongst their children, lest they create a contrifugal element that would place the family on the path of perpetual altercation.
The English alone is saying.
Uniqueness and cherish it from
Wayamdi. On that note, thank you for joining the conversation. Keep the conversations going on social media. Follow us on all our social media handles. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Sibling rivalry is just one result of playing favorites by parents. While some experts believe growing up with a little competition isn't a bad thing, too much could create a wedge between siblings that could last a lifetime. We'll see you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.